Hello and welcome back to what was at first finished manga May and is now just finish it June, which is already half over before we head into just friggin' finish it July and then finish it already August. Anyways, I've been trying to finish some manga that for various reasons I kind of stopped right at the finish line of. This is one that I did not originally plan on including in this category because I had no idea it was ending. It's one that I have been reading for a little while now. I got caught up with it, and then I read the last 3 or 4 chapters as they came out. And now, suddenly, just when I got caught up with everyone else, it's ending. Seems crazy to me. I don't know, it felt like the series still had so many more stories to tell. I felt like we had just begun to scratch the surface on these people and their lives and their struggles. I thought, at the very least, we would get to the big question of what will she do after she graduates? Will she keep living with her aunt? What will her aunt feel about that? I thought there was so many kind of like little plot lines that had been just started to set up that were going to pay off. But once I realized that it had ended and that there was no real negotiating on this, and that really it had run for 11 volumes, which is long, it doesn't need to be any longer than that. I also see that this final chapter is very long. It's like 67 pages, so we better get to it fast. I started to think more and more that like maybe this is an appropriate ending. Like, this is a series that is very, very down to earth, very, very true to life, very honest about the complexity and the interlocking of human lives and the messiness of that. There was nothing that was overly showy, overly dramatic. There was nothing unnecessary. And all those things that I thought, oh, this is just the start. Why did I think that? It was because I was treating it more like a manga, more like a story than something that you would hear about in real life. Things can just end. That's the beauty of stories. So let's check it out. It looks like they're getting a live action movie. Now the story is finally ending. Final chapter. A lovely, lovely watercolors and stuff here. I love the color scheme. But what is happening? Your story for me was here, and now the curtain closes on that story. Lying beyond the thing is ... This is very typical of the series, this sort of scattered dialogue where we don't really know what is being discussed exactly or whom it's being discussed by. Just scattered fragments of dialogue. He sang on the concourse that one time, right? When did that happen again? Has there been a major time jump? Because she was singing on the concourse like just a couple years ago. So what was that? Was that like a flash forward? And now we return to the premise? Or the present? I don't know. I gotta move forward though, because this is very long. They're all doing their best. Don't know what's up with me. Nice, nice. I really loved the art style and depiction of this series. It's so minimal and like loose, but there's such a sense of like warmth and closeness and humanity to it. I think it nails both at the same time. Like, the scenes that make you feel isolated from the characters, that emphasize ideas of loneliness, of isolation, of that sort of distress, of that longing, of that confusion, are expressed very, very well and like give you that real sense. And then when that's broken and when people come together, whereas there's this liveliness and this activity and the closeness, it's such an amazing transition. Guess I like being in noisy spaces better. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, she runs into the lawyer. See, I thought there was going to be a whole thing where Maiko-san has her relationship with her ex. Will they get back together? Will they not? I don't know. It seems like they're pretty suitable for each other, but complications. I thought that was going to end with, like, you know, this kind of very sober realization of it's better if we just remain friends. And then she was going to end up being more open and interested in this lawyer dude, and that they were going to forge a very unlikely connection. There's no time for that now. Please take care of your health. Thoughts being about this in person would be burdensome, so I waited some time to bring this up, but I'm sorry. Oh. Yeah, he was in the last chapter, which I just reread before I started reading this. He realized that he had been severely lacking in empathy. He's just not that type of person. I think it also has stuff to do with him not indulging in any fictions. Just an odd quirk. I really like this character. I really liked every character in this series. Coming to apologize, Liz, is hilarious. Former company funny, they've gotten angry. Oh, so he's on his way out of the house. Okay, sure. The world is far less kind than young people realize. Please do be careful. Rather, allow us, our adults, to be careful. Considered fortunate for having so many fussy adults in my life. I think the dialogue writing of the series is so good, too. It's a lot of, like, stumbling over words. And then Maiko-san really steps out from that by, like, being weird and reserved and, like, not speaking often, but then sometimes being so articulate and precise, and you're like, there's a writer. Maybe I became fortunate at the point my parents died. See, it's like, I think I can come to terms with, like, all the plot elements that I thought would happen are not coming to pass because this is the last chapter. But what's, like, harder for me to accept, I guess, is that, like, Asa's doing good, but she's not doing great. Like, she still struggles with so much, and she still can't get her head around so much, and it feels like she still hasn't reckoned with so much. And it's, like, sad to be leaving her when she still has so much further to go. Man. This poor autistic lawyer. Okay. They split off. This is likely his departure from the series, but he calls out, "Really sure you'll be alright on your own?" This feels like a revelation. That, like, for so long she didn't understand her father. She still doesn't really understand her father. She has no idea what kind of person her father is. Or was. I made a mistake that she does in the series in one of my favorite scenes. But I think in this moment, she's realizing that even if she can't understand her father, she can come to understand this man, who is maybe a little bit like her father. and can serve a somewhat similar role in her life as her father did. And through that, it sucks. She'll never really know her dad. But she'll have that feeling of knowing someone like that. Abunai. Her dad is so weird. Her dad is just... I don't know. It's like I feel like I understand him, but in a way that Asa couldn't, Like I feel like as an adult, I've encountered more people like him now, and I can understand him better. But I can understand why through Asa's young, rambunctious eyes, he remains a total enigma. And this is good. It's like she's articulating needs that she couldn't say to her father, or that her father didn't really respond correctly to. She's developing these sorts of relationships that she couldn't have with her parents, which I get. A nice little scene. This isn't right away, but once I get into university, I could live on my own. So I feel like this was kind of the major question of the series, at least the later parts of it. And I figured that I thought maybe it would all build up to this ending, where we find out whether she's decided to continue living with Maiko, or if she's going to move out on her own. And it looks like this final chapter, will at least address that. Because, I don't know, it's sort of... On the one hand, this is like a realistic series, and the circumstances going into that decision are based on a whole lot of stuff, like what school she gets into and where she wants to live and such, right? But then there's also, the emotional side of that, which is... do they feel like living together brings benefit to their lives? Are they, in the end, happy to have one another in each other's lives, or was it just making the best of the bad situation? And I feel like it wants you to build up to this heartwarming answer of, they really do love each other, and they really have enriched each other's lives. And I think there is a lot of, evidence of that. But, I don't know. I don't think it's fair to, hinge the emotional tone of the whole series on that. But it may be better to avoid using money you don't have to use. Please at least stay here until you get used to university. Whoa. This is pretty huge for her. This is a level of emotional honesty and directness that I don't think we've really seen. And immediately she has to backpedal. This montage of all the times she saw her leave. Going back to work. Her friend coming to visit. I like this character a lot too. This character I can probably relate to more than any of the other ones. I don't know. She just feels like me. There's something about her personality I can really relate to. Dad said all of a sudden, maybe it's because of me that you're like that. Yeah, what a thing to say. I don't know what she can say in response. Besides, huh? We really can't understand each other. Just look at him. I kind of feel bad for my dad still having regrets even at age 70. I guess if I can get a little personal here, and it's like, why not? Because who cares? I've like my childhood wasn't great. There's a lot of problems, a lot of things I really resented my parents for a long time. And then I came to a point where I have a much better relationship with my parents, in no small part because my life is doing a lot better. And because of that, I can really come to appreciate, like, although I think they made poor decisions in terms of my childhood, they definitely did their best. They definitely did what they thought was right. There was no maliciousness. There was just a lot of ignorance, like a level of ignorance that I think I would question. But and the thing is, like, I'm a little like bitter thinking about my childhood. Like, it's not happy to think about my childhood. I have a lot of like stress dreams about my childhood, but I don't want my parents to feel bad about my childhood, because like I'm like over it. Like it doesn't currently negatively impact my life. I've made it past that. It like my life is good now. Like I've overcome my childhood, and I don't want them to feel bad about what they did or didn't do or the choices they made or anything like that. Like, what good is that going to do me? Like, what? So I know they feel bad, and I've really tried now to give them every opportunity to do right by me and to feel good about their relationship with me, Like, how do I put this? Going out of my way to tell them things so that they have the opportunity to approve of them and support me on them, like giving them chances to do things that they can feel good about with regards to me, to make up for that. Because the idea of them having regrets at the age of 70 or whatever really doesn't sit well with me. Anyways, it's something I thought of. Really does annoy me. Humanity. Seeing something as beautiful or lovable or valuable. I want to cherish something. I want to communicate something. Every time I feel that, I feel intensely exhausted. I can't stand it. The thing I have the biggest regrets about right now is having had those feelings. Even with us, who never had a single fight, it's not like we haven't put an effort to be friends. That is why we have the word heartbreaking. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Jeez. I don't know. There's this feeling of wanting to look after someone where the thought of them going off without your protection, whether it's under good or bad circumstances, doesn't even matter, is like so intense and scary. And I think that's kind of what she's feeling, that Asa is just gonna be able to move on. Aww. And stay here as long as you want. If you get sick of me, you don't have to ever come back. No matter how many years go by, or even the whole rest of your life, you can never contact me again if you don't feel like it. It's okay with me. Oh my god. Oh. You can come back here and live here anytime you like. I won't mind. And if you want to keep living here for the rest of your life, that's okay too. Oh, man. man, this is bringing up a lot of shit for me. It's like this sort of mapping, this sort of thing that I could have compared this relationship to, which I don't want to get into, but like the whole time I was reading this, I never once compared myself to that situation. Like I never saw the parallels in my head between this aspect of my life, this thing that happened to me, and the plot of this series. Not once. And now it's like so painfully obvious. Only in this moment. Only in this moment where Maiko becomes so honest and so emotional. Only now do I realize that these are emotions I had too. There's nothing I can learn from this, though. There's something I could have learned from this like 3 years ago. But now, by the time decisions were being made and things were being said, it was way too late. But this really hits close to home. That those words are not enough. Just not enough. Graduation. Now we're back to this opening scene, which, as I thought, seems like some sort of flash forward. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. Yeah. That was a good series. Reminded me a lot of like Hamaguchi, Ryosuke Hamaguchi, a Japanese director. And that it has like a certain lightness about human interaction while never once like simplifying it or trivializing it or brushing things off. It's like take the full force weight of what it is to be human. even terrible things like your parents dying in a car accident. And if you can really hold that all in your mind, the long and short of it, there's a certain lightness, a certain literary touch to things. Yeah, it was very good. A lot of comments on it. I imagine a lot of people are like, "What the fuck? It's over." Just gonna go through and like the. All right. All right. Okay. All right.